Captain Kim Dae-ho stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the massive battle unfold before him. The human cruiser Indomitable Spirit floated invisible in the darkness of space, hidden by technology that made them completely undetectable. Around them, hundreds of alien warships fired their weapons in a deadly dance of destruction. The Kepler Nebula stretched out in all directions, its colorful gas clouds providing perfect cover for their secret mission. For 6 months now, Captain Kim and his crew had been watching alien battles like this one. They studied how different species fought their wars. They learned about alien weapons and tactics. Most importantly, they remained completely hidden. "Captain, the Veltari Empire has deployed 200 warships," reported Lieutenant Commander Park So-young from her tactical station. Her voice was calm and professional, but Kim could hear the concern underneath. "The Draknor Confederacy brought 150 vessels. This is the largest battle we have observed so far." Kim nodded slowly. He had been expecting this moment for weeks. Intelligence reports from Earth suggested both alien empires were preparing for a major confrontation in this sector. The Kepler Nebula contained rare minerals that both species desperately needed for their expanding fleets. At the engineering station, Lee Byung-woo monitored their ship's advanced systems. The quantum drive hummed quietly in the background, maintaining their stealth field while keeping all weapons and defenses ready for instant activation. Lee had helped design many of the experimental technologies aboard the Indomitable Spirit. He knew every system better than anyone else in the human fleet. "Energy signatures are holding steady," Lee reported. "No one can see us out there. We are completely invisible to their sensors." Communications Officer Choi Mira sat at her station, listening to alien radio transmissions on dozens of different frequencies. She spoke 47 different galactic languages fluently, making her invaluable for intelligence gathering. Her earpiece crackled with angry voices as alien commanders shouted orders to their fleets. "Both sides are claiming this territory belongs to them," Choi Mira translated. "The Veltari Admiral says his people discovered this nebula first. The Draknor fleet commander argues that their species has mining rights here. Neither side wants to back down." Kim walked to the main view screen and stared at the battle raging outside. Bright flashes of energy weapons lit up the darkness as alien ships exchanged devastating volleys. The Veltari used long-range plasma cannons that could punch through most armor. The Draknor preferred kinetic missiles that exploded with tremendous force. Both weapons were deadly effective against their enemies. What struck Kim most was how predictable their tactics were. The Veltari formed defensive lines and tried to outshoot their opponents from a distance. The Draknor used hit-and-run attacks, striking fast before retreating to reload their missile tubes. It was the same pattern they had observed in dozens of previous battles. "These species have been fighting each other for over 300 years, Kim said quietly, "yet they still use the same old strategies. They never learn anything new." Park So-young looked up from her tactical display. "Sir, the casualty reports are coming in. 17 Veltari ships destroyed so far, 23 Draknor vessels completely disabled. Thousands of alien lives lost, and the battle has only been going for 2 hours." The captain felt a familiar weight in his chest. Every battle they observed ended the same way. Massive destruction on both sides with very little gained by either fleet. The aliens seemed to think that throwing more ships and more weapons at each other was the only way to solve their problems. His personal communicator buzzed softly. An encrypted message from Earth Command appeared on the small screen. Kim read it quickly, his expression remaining neutral despite the importance of the contents. Admiral Sarah Chen was requesting an immediate status report on their reconnaissance mission. Kim typed back a brief reply confirming their position and current observations. He did not mention his growing concerns about the senseless warfare they witnessed every day. Earth Command had been very clear about their mission parameters. "Observe and report. Do not interfere. Maintain complete secrecy about human capabilities, Captain," Choi Mira called out suddenly. "I am picking up new transmissions. Someone else is entering the battle zone." On the main screen, dozens of new contacts appeared at the edge of the sensor range. These ships were different from the Veltari and Draknor vessels. They moved in tight formations and had unusual energy signatures. Lee Byung-woo ran a quick analysis of the newcomers. "These are Zephyrian raiders, sir. Slavers and pirates. They always show up after big battles to capture survivors and steal whatever they can find." Kim's jaw tightened. The Zephyrians were among the worst species in known space. They specialized in capturing weakened ships and selling their crews into slavery across the galaxy. Their timing was perfect. Both alien fleets were damaged and focused on fighting each other. Park So-young studied the new tactical situation developing on her screens. "Sir, the Zephyrian ships are moving into position around both fleets. They are not here to join either side. They want to prey on whoever survives the battle." The captain watched as Zephyrian vessels began surrounding the combat zone. Their ships were fast and heavily armed with capture weapons designed to disable rather than destroy their targets. They would wait until both fleets exhausted themselves fighting, then swoop in to collect the survivors. This is exactly what happened at the Rigel system battle 3 months ago, Kim remembered. The Zephyrians captured over 5,000 aliens and sold them at slave markets throughout the Outer Rim territories. Choi Mira continued monitoring communications from all 3 groups. The Veltari and Draknor commanders had noticed the Zephyrian ships, but were too committed to their battle to break off and deal with the new threat. Pride and stubbornness would keep them fighting until it was too late to escape. "Sir, I am detecting civilian evacuation ships trying to leave the combat zone," Park So-young reported. "Families and non-combatants from both species. The Zephyrians are already moving to intercept them." Kim closed his eyes for a moment. This was exactly the kind of situation Earth Command had warned them about. Getting emotionally involved in alien conflicts could compromise their mission and reveal human presence in this sector. They were supposed to be invisible observers, gathering intelligence for Earth's future security. But watching innocent civilians get captured by slavers went against everything Kim believed in. His crew felt the same way. He could see it in their faces. They had all joined the space service to protect people, not to hide in the shadows while atrocities happened around them. The battle continued to rage outside their hidden ship. More vessels exploded in brilliant flashes of light. The Zephyrian raiders moved closer to their prey. And somewhere out there, civilian ships full of families were desperately trying to escape a nightmare that was about to get much worse. Captain Kim Dae-ho stood alone with the most difficult decision of his career: follow orders and maintain their secret mission, or reveal humanity's presence to save thousands of innocent lives. The weight of that choice would soon change the course of galactic history forever. The situation in the Kepler Nebula was getting worse by the minute. Captain Kim Dae-ho watched from his hidden position as the Zephyrian raiders began their deadly game. The slavers had perfected their tactics over decades of preying on weakened fleets. They knew exactly when to strike for maximum profit. "Captain, the Zephyrians are splitting into 3 attack groups," Lieutenant Commander Park So-young reported from her tactical station. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel as she analyzed the enemy formations. "They are using the classic pincer movement. One group will attack from above, one from below, and the third will block any escape routes." Kim nodded grimly. He had studied Zephyrian tactics during his training at Earth Military Academy. They were brutal but effective. The raiders would wait until both alien fleets exhausted their weapons and energy reserves fighting each other. Then they would move in with fresh ships and capture weapons designed specifically for taking prisoners. At the engineering station, Lee Byung-woo monitored their ship's experimental systems. The quantum drive was running at full capacity, ready to drop their stealth field at a moment's notice. All weapon systems showed green status lights. The indomitable spirit was prepared for anything, but their orders were clear. "Do not engage. Do not reveal human presence." "Sir, our quantum drive is operating perfectly," Lee reported quietly. "If we need to move fast, we can appear anywhere in this star system within seconds. The Zephyrians have never seen technology like ours." Communications Officer Choi Mira continued listening to radio transmissions from all 3 fleets. Her face grew more troubled with each passing minute. The aliens were so focused on their own battle that they were ignoring the growing threat surrounding them. "Captain, the Zephyrian commander is giving orders to prepare capture nets and stun weapons," Choi Mira translated. "They expect to take at least 8,000 prisoners from this battle. They already have buyers waiting at the slave markets in the Outer Rim." Kim felt sick to his stomach. 8,000 sentient beings would disappear into a life of slavery and suffering. Families would be separated forever. Children would grow up in chains, never knowing freedom. It was exactly the kind of horror that made him join Earth's space service in the first place. The battle between the Veltari Empire and Draknor Confederacy continued with devastating intensity. Both fleets were now showing serious damage. Several Veltari cruisers were drifting without power, their crews sending desperate distress calls that no one answered. Draknor destroyers limped away from the combat zone with hull breaches and failing life support systems. Casualty reports are coming in from both sides, Park So-young said softly. The Veltari have lost 31 ships completely. The Draknor fleet is down 27 vessels. Both admirals are calling for reinforcements, but help is still hours away. Kim walked to the main view screen and stared at the destruction outside. Debris from destroyed ships floated through space like metallic snow. Emergency beacons flashed in the darkness, marking the locations of escape pods filled with wounded survivors. It was a scene of absolute chaos and desperation. His personal communicator buzzed again. Another message from Earth Command appeared on the encrypted channel. Admiral Chen was requesting updated intelligence on Zephyrian fleet movements in this sector. She had no idea that Kim and his crew were about to witness the largest slaving operation in recent galactic history. Kim started to type a response, but stopped when Choi Mira suddenly called out in alarm. "Captain, I am detecting a new signal," she said urgently. "There is a hospital ship trying to escape the battle zone. Veltari medical vessel with 3,000 patients on board. They are running on emergency power only." On the tactical display, a large white ship appeared at the edge of the combat area. The vessel had red medical symbols painted on its hull and was broadcasting continuous distress signals on all emergency frequencies. It was clearly marked as a non-combatant medical facility. "The hospital ship is badly damaged," Park So-young reported. "Their shields are down to 12%. Main engines are offline. They are defenseless and moving very slowly toward the nebula edge." Lee Byung-woo ran quick calculations on his engineering panel. At their current speed, it will take them 47 minutes to reach safe distance from the battle. "But sir, look at this." He transferred his data to the main screen. A cluster of red dots was moving directly toward the hospital ship. 6 Zephyrian raider vessels had broken away from the main fleet and were closing in on the medical facility like hungry predators. The Zephyrians see an easy target, Kim realized. Wounded patients cannot fight back. Medical staff are valuable as slaves because they have useful skills. That hospital ship is exactly what they want. Choi Mira was now monitoring the hospital ship's communications directly. Her face went pale as she translated their desperate calls for help. "Captain, they are broadcasting on all frequencies," she said with emotion in her voice. "The medical staff is begging anyone to help them. They have children on board, pregnant women, elderly patients who will die if they are captured. No one is answering their calls." The Veltari and Draknor fleets were too busy fighting each other to spare any ships for rescue operations. Both admirals had written off the hospital ship as an acceptable loss. Military victory was more important than saving civilian lives. Kim felt his resolve beginning to crack. Everything he believed in as a human being told him to act, but his duty as a military officer demanded that he follow orders and maintain their secret mission. The future security of Earth might depend on keeping their advanced technology hidden from potentially hostile alien species. Time, until the Zephyrians intercept the hospital ship, he asked quietly. Park So-young checked her calculations twice. 14 minutes at current approach speed, sir. Once they get close enough to use their capture nets, those 3,000 patients will be doomed. Lee Byung-woo looked up from his engineering station. "Captain, our weapons could disable those raider ships in less than 30 seconds. They would never know what hit them. But if we reveal ourselves, every alien empire in the galaxy will know that humans possess advanced military technology," Kim replied. "Earth Command has spent 50 years keeping our capabilities secret. We cannot throw that away lightly." Choi Mira removed her earpiece and turned to face her captain. "Sir, I have been listening to those medical staff for the past hour. They are just like us. They became doctors and nurses to help people. They are trying to save lives while their own world tears itself apart in war. How can we let them die when we have the power to help them?" The bridge fell silent except for the quiet hum of their advanced systems. Outside, the hospital ship continued its desperate flight toward safety, while Zephyrian raiders closed in like wolves hunting a wounded deer. Thousands of innocent lives hung in the balance. Captain Kim Dae-ho stared at the tactical display showing the approaching disaster. His crew waited for orders, but he could see the answer in their eyes. They were all thinking the same thing. Sometimes doing what was right meant more than following what was safe. The next few minutes would change everything. Not just for the aliens fighting and dying outside their ship, but for humanity's place in the galaxy. The age of hiding in the shadows was about to end, whether Earth Command was ready or not. Captain Kim Dae-ho closed his eyes for 3 seconds, then opened them with new determination. The decision was made. He could not watch 3,000 innocent beings get captured by slavers when he had the power to stop it. All stations, battle ready, he commanded firmly. Lee Byung-woo, prepare to drop stealth field on my mark. Park So-young, target the 6 Zephyrian raiders approaching the hospital ship. Choi Mi-ra, prepare to broadcast on all frequencies. His crew moved with practiced efficiency. They had trained for this moment for years, even though they never expected it to come so soon. The bridge hummed with energy as advanced human systems came online. Quantum drive ready, Captain, Lee reported. All weapon systems showing full charge. We can appear anywhere in the battle zone instantly. Targeting solutions locked on all 6 raider ships, Park So-young confirmed. Precision plasma arrays are calibrated for disable shots only. We can take out their engines and weapons without destroying the ships. Kim took a deep breath. Once they revealed themselves, there would be no going back. Every alien empire in the galaxy would know that humans possessed technology, far beyond what anyone suspected. Drop. Stealth field now, he ordered. The indomitable Spirit suddenly appeared in the middle of the battle zone, like a ghost materializing from thin air. The human cruiser was unlike any ship the aliens had ever seen. Its hull was smooth and angular, covered in a dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Energy patterns flowed across its surface like living electricity. On every alien bridge, sensors operators stared in shock at their displays. The human ship had appeared from absolutely nowhere. No hyperspace signature, no engine trail. One moment empty space, the next moment a completely unknown vessel sitting right in the middle of their battle. Admiral Torvek of the Veltari Empire was the first to react. What is that ship? Where did it come from? Run full scans immediately. Commander Vashati of the Draknor Confederacy was equally confused. That design does not match any known species in our database. How did they get so close without being detected? The Zephyrian raiders were only 2 minutes away from the hospital ship when the human cruiser appeared directly in their path. Raider Captain Kralvek sneered at his tactical display. One small ship thinks it can stop us, he laughed. All vessels ignore the unknown contact. Continue toward the medical facility. Captain Kim stood at the center of his bridge, calm and ready. Park So-young, show them what human precision looks like. The tactical officer smiled grimly. Yes, sir. Engaging targets now. Beams of pure blue energy lanced out from the indomitable Spirit with impossible accuracy. Each shot lasted exactly 1.3 seconds and struck its target with surgical precision. The plasma beams cut through Zephyrian shields like they were made of paper, then disabled engines and weapon systems without causing hull breaches. In 15 seconds, all 6 raider ships were drifting helplessly in space. Their crews were alive but completely powerless. They could only watch as the human vessel positioned itself between them and the hospital ship. Impossible, whispered Kralvex as he stared at his dead control panels. No weapon in the galaxy can cut through our shields that easily. Throughout the battle zone, alien crews watched in stunned silence. The human ship had just demonstrated a level of weapons technology that surpassed anything they thought possible. The precision was perfect. The power was overwhelming, yet they had not killed anyone. Lee Byung-woo engaged the quantum drive system, creating multiple energy signatures around the battlefield. To alien sensors, it looked like the human ship was appearing in several places at once, defying every known law of physics. How are they doing that? Admiral Torvek demanded of his science officers. Ships cannot exist in multiple locations simultaneously. Choi Mi-ra opened communication channels to all 3 fleets. When she spoke, her words came out in perfect Veltari, Draknor and Zephyrian languages switching between them flawlessly. Attention all vessels. This is Communications Officer Choi Mi-ra of the Earth ship Indomitable Spirit. You will immediately cease all attacks on civilian and medical targets. Any ship that fires on non-combatants will be disabled. This is your only warning. The aliens were shocked by her linguistic perfection. Most species could barely speak one galactic language correctly. This human was switching between 3 different languages like she had been born speaking all of them. Earth ship, repeated Commander Vashati slowly. But humans are primitive. They have crude fusion drives and basic projectile weapons. How is this possible? Captain Kim activated the main communication system. His voice was calm and authoritative as he addressed all three alien fleets. I am Captain Kim Dae-ho of the United Earth Space Command. We have been observing this conflict for several months. We cannot stand by while innocent lives are threatened by those who profit from suffering. Admiral Torvek tried to process what he was hearing. Captain Kim, our intelligence reports indicate that human technology is centuries behind our own. Your species has only been in space for a few decades. You cannot possibly possess weapons like we just witnessed. Kim allowed himself a small smile. Admiral, perhaps your intelligence reports need updating. Humanity has been developing our technology for much longer than you realize. We simply chose not to advertise our capabilities. The hospital ship was now safely moving away from the disabled Zephyrian raiders. Its captain broadcast grateful thanks on emergency frequencies. 3,000 patients would live to see another day because humans had chosen to break their cover. Park So-young monitored reactions from all three fleets.
Captain, they have stopped fighting each other.
Every ship has weapons powered down. All sensors are focused on us. Energy signatures from their vessels indicate extreme confusion, Lee added. Their science officers are trying to understand our quantum drive system. They cannot figure out how we are manipulating space and time. The three alien fleets floated in space, temporarily united by their shared amazement. The small primitive species they had dismissed as barely capable of interstellar travel had just demonstrated technology that made their most advanced ships look like toys. Captain Kim looked at his crew with pride. They had made the right choice. Sometimes doing what was moral mattered more than following orders. Earth would have to deal with the consequences, but thousands of innocent beings were alive because of their decision. Choi Mira, prepare to receive communications from all three fleet commanders, he said. Something tells me they are going to want to talk. Admiral Torvek of the Veltari Empire stared at his tactical display in complete disbelief. For over 200 years, his species had studied human technology. Every intelligence report said the same thing. Humans were newcomers to space with primitive fusion drives, basic energy shields, and simple projectile weapons. They were barely worth notice as a spacefaring civilization. The ship floating before him made all those reports look like lies. Science Officer Keldar, explain to me how this is possible, the Admiral demanded. His voice shook with confusion and growing fear. The Veltari science officer studied his instruments with trembling hands. Sir, the energy readings from that human vessel do not match anything in our databases. Their quantum drive operates on principles our physicists claimed were theoretically impossible. The power output suggests they have solved problems we have been working on for centuries. Admiral Torvek activated his communication system. He had to know the truth about what he was facing. Earth vessel, this is Admiral Torvek of the Veltari Imperial Fleet. I have studied human ships for decades. Your technology appears to be centuries ahead of anything we believed your species possessed. How do you explain this contradiction? Captain Kim Dae-ho appeared on the main view screen of every alien ship in the battle zone. He looked calm and confident, like revealing impossible technology was something he did every day. Admiral Torvek, humanity learned long ago that showing all your capabilities to potential enemies is not wise. Kim replied smoothly. We have been developing advanced technology while allowing others to believe we were primitive. It seemed safer that way. Commander Vashati of the Draknor Confederacy interrupted the conversation. Captain Kim, our intelligence services have spies throughout the galaxy. If humans possessed technology like this, we would have detected it somehow. Kim smiled slightly. Commander, you detected exactly what we wanted you to detect. Nothing more and nothing less. The human captain's confidence was terrifying to the alien commanders. They were beginning to realize that humanity had been playing a game far more sophisticated than anyone suspected. While the galaxy's empires fought endless wars with each other, humans had been quietly watching and learning from the shadows. Suddenly, long-range sensors detected a new threat approaching the battle zone. A massive Draknor planet-killer missile was heading directly toward the Veltari flagship. The weapon was designed to destroy entire cities and could easily vaporize Admiral Torvek's command ship. Incoming planet-killer missile, Park So-young reported calmly. Target is the Veltari flagship. Impact in 47 seconds. Admiral Torvek saw the missile on his screens and felt his heart stop beating. His ship's engines were damaged from the battle and could not move fast enough to avoid the weapon. His shields would not stop a planet-killer missile. He was about to die along with 3,000 crew members. All power to shields, he ordered desperately. Prepare for impact. Captain Kim watched the situation develop with clinical interest. This was a perfect opportunity to demonstrate another aspect of human technological superiority. Park So-young, intercept that missile, he commanded. Show them what our defensive systems can do. The indomitable spirit moved between the Veltari flagship and the approaching planet-killer missile. Instead of firing weapons, the human ship activated energy barriers that the aliens had never seen before. The barriers did not just block the incoming weapon, they completely absorbed its energy and redirected it harmlessly into space. The missile struck the human ship's defenses and simply vanished. Its tremendous destructive power was converted into harmless light that scattered among the nebula's gas clouds. Every alien in the battle zone watched in amazement. The humans had not just stopped a planet-killer missile. They had absorbed its energy like it was nothing more than a gentle breeze. Impossible, whispered Admiral Torvik. Planet-killer missiles cannot be stopped by any known technology. They are designed to penetrate any shield or armor. Lee Byung-woo decided to demonstrate even more of their capabilities. He activated the quantum drive in a new configuration, creating a localized space-time distortion around all three alien fleets. Suddenly, none of the ships could jump to hyperspace or leave the battle zone. "Sir, we are trapped," reported the science officer on every alien bridge. "Some kind of space-time field is preventing hyperspace jumps. We cannot escape." The aliens realized with growing terror that they were completely at the mercy of this unknown human ship. The vessel had demonstrated weapons that could disable any target with perfect precision, defenses that could stop planet-killer missiles, and the ability to trap entire fleets in normal space. Commander Vashati tried to maintain his composure, but fear was creeping into his voice. "Captain Kim, you have shown us technology that should not exist. Draknor scientists have been working on energy absorption barriers for 50 years. They told me it was impossible to build such systems." "Many things are impossible until someone figures out how to make them work," Kim replied. "Humanity has had time to solve problems that others gave up on." Choi Mira began transmitting detailed information to all the damaged ships in the battle zone. The data included medical supply inventories, repair protocols, and humanitarian aid offers. The aliens were shocked to discover that the human ship carried more advanced medical equipment than most of their hospital vessels. "We are detecting medical technologies in that transmission that we have never seen before," reported a Veltari medical officer. "Their surgical equipment could save patients we thought were beyond help. Their medicine appears to be decades ahead of our own." Admiral Torvik felt the weight of his new reality settling on his shoulders. Humanity was not the primitive species his empire had dismissed. They were possibly the most advanced civilization in known space, and they had been secretly watching everyone else stumble through centuries of warfare. "Captain Kim, if your species possesses such advanced technology, why did you remain hidden?" he asked. "You could have conquered most of the galaxy by now." Kim's expression became serious. "Admiral, conquest was never our goal. We have been watching the galaxy tear itself apart with endless wars. We hoped other species would eventually learn to solve their problems without constant violence. Unfortunately, that does not seem to be happening." The disabled Zephyrian raider ships floated helplessly nearby, their crews listening to every word. Raider Captain Kralvex finally understood that he had made a terrible mistake. He had attacked beings whose technology made his fleet look like children's toys. "Human Captain," Kralvex called out on an open channel. "We did not know. If we had realized your capabilities, we would never have threatened your people." Kim's voice turned cold. "You would never have threatened anyone if you were not slavers and pirates. Your ignorance of our technology does not excuse your crimes." The three alien fleets floated in space, completely outmatched by a single human cruiser. Their most advanced weapons were useless. Their best defenses were worthless. Their fastest ships were trapped like insects in amber. For the first time in galactic history, an entire battle had been stopped by one vessel from a species that everyone thought was primitive and harmless. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted in a matter of minutes, and none of the old rules applied anymore. Raider Captain Kralvex stared at his dead control panels and felt rage building in his chest. For 30 years he had terrorized this region of space. His Zephyrian fleet had captured thousands of slaves and destroyed hundreds of ships. No one had ever stopped him so easily. The idea that primitive humans could possess such technology was impossible to accept. It had to be some kind of trick or deception. Real advanced technology took thousands of years to develop. Humans had only been in space for a few decades. "This is impossible," he snarled at his tactical officer. "Humans are weak and stupid. They have crude ships and primitive weapons. That vessel must be stolen technology or some kind of illusion." His tactical officer looked at the sensor readings with fear in his eyes. "Captain, our instruments show that ship is real. The energy signatures are unlike anything we have ever encountered. Their weapons cut through our shields like they were not even there." Kralvek slammed his fist on his command chair. "I refuse to believe that inferior species can defeat Zephyrian raiders. All remaining ships attack that human vessel immediately. Show them what happens when they interfere with our operations." The other Zephyrian captains hesitated. They had just watched 6 of their ships get disabled in 15 seconds. Attacking the human cruiser seemed like suicide. "Captain Kralvex, perhaps we should reconsider," suggested his second-in-command. "That human ship demonstrated capabilities we cannot match. Maybe we should try to negotiate." "Never," Kralvex roared. "Zephyrians do not negotiate with prey animals. All ships attack formation now. We will overwhelm them with numbers." 23 Zephyrian raider ships moved toward the indomitable spirit with weapons charged and capture nets deployed. They spread out in a wide attack pattern, trying to surround the human vessel from all directions. Captain Kim Dae-ho watched the approaching raiders with disappointment but not surprise. He had hoped the demonstration of superior technology would be enough to prevent further violence. Some species, however, could only learn through painful experience. "Captain, the Zephyrians are attacking in full force," Park So-young reported. 23 ships moving to surround us. They are using standard raider tactics." Kim sighed heavily. He had seen this pattern before in the intelligence reports. Zephyrian culture was built on the belief that they were superior to all other species. When faced with evidence that contradicted this belief, they usually responded with increased aggression rather than rational thought. "Show them why Earth Command classified our true capabilities," he ordered quietly. "Disable all attacking vessels. Make sure their crews survive to learn from this experience." Park So-young's fingers danced across her tactical controls. "Yes, sir. Engaging all targets now." What happened next would be discussed in alien military academies for centuries. The human cruiser did not just fight the Zephyrian fleet. It systematically dismantled them with surgical precision that seemed almost casual. Blue energy beams lanced out in perfect patterns, each shot calculated to disable specific systems without harming the crews inside. Raider ships lost their engines, weapons, shields, and communication systems in rapid succession. The attack lasted exactly 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Lee Byung-woo demonstrated gravitational manipulation technology that the aliens thought was pure science fiction. Localized gravity wells appeared around Zephyrian vessels, crushing their engine compartments while leaving crew sections intact. The precision was so exact that not a single raider died, but every ship was completely helpless. "Impossible," whispered Admiral Torvek as he watched the one-sided battle. "They are controlling gravity itself. Our scientists said such technology would require the power output of an entire star." Commander Vashiti was equally amazed. That human ship just disabled 23 raiders in less than 3 minutes. Our best battle fleets would need hours to achieve the same result. The demonstration was over quickly. 23 Zephyrian ships drifted powerlessly in space, their crews alive but thoroughly defeated. Captain Kralvek sat in his command chair, staring at displays that showed nothing but system failures. Choi Mira had been busy during the brief battle. Her communication systems had intercepted and decoded every Zephyrian transmission in the area. Now she had a complete picture of their slave trading operations throughout this sector. "Captain, I have intercepted detailed information about Zephyrian slave routes and hidden bases," she reported. "They have been operating out of 17 different locations. Their records show over 50,000 sentient beings sold into slavery in the past 5 years. Kim nodded grimly. "Transmit all that intelligence to both the Veltari and Draknor fleets. Let them see the full extent of Zephyrian crimes in their territories." The information that flooded alien communication networks was staggering. Detailed maps showing secret slave markets, financial records proving decades of illegal trafficking, lists of captured individuals sold to buyers across the galaxy. The Zephyrians had been more active and more destructive than anyone realized. Admiral Torvek studied the intelligence data with growing anger. These records show Zephyrian raids on 17 Veltari colonies. Thousands of our citizens were captured and sold. We had no idea the problem was so extensive. Commander Vashati was equally furious. They have been operating slave markets in neutral space using our territory as transit routes. This intelligence will allow us to shut down their entire network. The two alien commanders looked at each other across the communication channel. For the first time in centuries, they had a common enemy and shared purpose. The Zephyrian slave trade had been preying on both their peoples while they wasted resources fighting each other. Captain Kim watched the changing dynamics with satisfaction. Sometimes revealing the truth was more effective than any weapon. The intelligence his ship had gathered would reshape security operations throughout this region of space. "Captain Kralvex," Kim called out on an open channel, "you attacked us because you believed humans were weak and primitive. Your assumptions have cost you your entire fleet. Perhaps other species will learn from your mistake." Kralvex could only glare at his dead control panels. His reign of terror was over. Worse, his defeat had been broadcast to every ship in the battle zone. Soon word would spread throughout the galaxy that Zephyrian raiders had been utterly defeated by a single human vessel. "Both alien fleets are requesting immediate diplomatic contact," Choi Mira reported. "Admiral Torvek and Commander Vashiti want to establish formal communication with Earth Command. They are also asking for our help in coordinating security operations against remaining Zephyrian bases." Kim smiled slightly. The balance of power in this region had shifted permanently. The Veltari Empire and Draknor Confederacy now knew that humanity possessed technology that could revolutionize galactic politics. More importantly, they had seen that humans used their superior capabilities to protect innocent lives rather than for conquest. The age of human secrecy was ending, but something better was beginning to take its place. Captain Kim Dae-ho stood in the main conference room of the Indomitable Spirit and looked at the three alien commanders who had just materialized on his ship using advanced transporter technology. Admiral Torvek of the Veltari Empire, Commander Vashti of the Draknor Confederacy, and the captured raider Captain Kralvex all stared around the room in amazement. The human ship's interior was unlike anything they had ever seen. Technology seemed to flow seamlessly with artistic design. The walls displayed real-time images of distant galaxies while providing tactical information when needed. The furniture adapted automatically to accommodate different alien body types. Even the air seemed to shimmer with barely visible energy patterns. "Welcome aboard," Kim said calmly. "I thought it was time we had a proper conversation about the future." Admiral Torvek walked slowly around the conference room, studying everything with the eye of an experienced military officer. "Captain Kim, this ship represents technology that should not exist. Our best scientists have been working on adaptive environmental systems for decades. You seem to have perfected them completely." Commander Vashati was equally impressed. "The energy efficiency alone is revolutionary. Your ship operates systems that would require massive power plants on our vessels. Yet everything runs silently and smoothly. How is this possible?" Kim gestured for his guests to sit at the conference table, which adjusted its shape and size to accommodate everyone comfortably. "The answer is simple, Commander. Humanity has been developing these technologies for over 50 years. We chose isolation and secrecy while we solved problems that other species considered impossible." Lieutenant Commander Park, So Young, joined the meeting with detailed tactical analyses displayed on portable screens. Her data showed the complete military situation throughout this sector of space. "Gentlemen, the conflict you were fighting serves no useful purpose," she said directly. "Both of your fleets have been using outdated strategies that guarantee heavy casualties with minimal strategic gains. Your tactical doctrines have not evolved in over a century." She activated a holographic display showing the recent battle from multiple angles. "The Veltari formation relies too heavily on long-range firepower, while ignoring defensive positioning. The Draknor attack patterns are predictable and waste enormous amounts of ammunition. Both approaches make you vulnerable to raiders like the Zephyrians." Admiral Torvek and Commander Vashti studied the tactical breakdown with growing embarrassment. A human officer who looked barely old, enough for military service, was teaching them lessons about warfare that their academies had never considered. Engineer Lee Byung-woo entered the conference room carrying samples of human technology that made the aliens gasp in recognition. He placed small devices on the table that contained more computing power than their largest military installations. The quantum drive technology you witnessed today could revolutionize galactic transportation, Lee explained. Ships could cross the galaxy in days instead of months. Communication between star systems could be instant rather than taking weeks. Resource conflicts like the one in this nebula would become unnecessary. Commander Vashati leaned forward with intense interest. Are you saying humans would share such technology with other species? Kim nodded slowly. Under the right circumstances, yes, but only with civilizations that demonstrate genuine commitment to peace and cooperation. Technology this powerful cannot be given to species that will use it primarily for warfare and conquest communications. Officer Choi Mira began facilitating the first peace negotiations between the Veltari Empire and Draknor Confederacy in over 200 years. Her approach was completely different from traditional galactic diplomacy. Instead of arguing about who controls this nebula, let us discuss what both sides actually need, she suggested. The Veltari require rare minerals for their industrial expansion. The Draknor need energy sources for their growing population. This nebula contains enough resources for both civilizations if you work together, instead of fighting. She displayed economic projections that showed how cooperation would benefit everyone involved. Shared mining operations would produce twice as much material at half the cost. Joint defense fleets could eliminate piracy throughout this sector. Both empires could achieve their goals without the massive expenses of constant warfare. Admiral Torvek and Commander Vashiti looked at each other across the conference table. For centuries, their species had assumed that any gain for one side meant loss for the other. The human diplomatic approach suggested that cooperation could benefit everyone. You are proposing that we work together rather than fight for control, Admiral Torvek said slowly. Our military traditions do not include such concepts. Kim smiled. Admiral, human military traditions emphasize achieving objectives with minimal casualties and maximum efficiency. We learned that cooperation often accomplishes more than conquest. Raider Captain Kralvex had been sitting silently throughout the meeting, but now he spoke up with obvious bitterness. What happens to my people? You have destroyed our fleet and revealed our operations to our enemies. The Zephyrian way of life is finished. Kim looked at the former slaver with no sympathy. Captain, your way of life was built on the suffering of innocent beings. It deserved to be finished. However, your crews will be given the opportunity to choose different paths. Those who wish to abandon piracy can find honest work. Those who continue as criminals will face justice. Choi Mira activated a communication link to Earth Command. Admiral Chen appeared on the main screen, looking surprised to see alien commanders sitting in a human conference room. Captain Kim, I was not expecting a diplomatic meeting when I requested your status report, she said with raised eyebrows. Admiral, the situation has developed beyond our original mission parameters, Kim replied. The secret phase of our operations has ended. I am recommending that Earth begin formal diplomatic relations with both the Veltari Empire and Draknor Confederacy. Admiral Chen studied the alien commanders through the communication link. Gentlemen, I assume you would like to establish treaties with Earth government. Both Admiral Torvek and Commander Vashati nodded eagerly. They had seen enough human technology to know that Earth was now the most important potential ally in the galaxy. We request immediate negotiations for mutual defense treaties, Admiral Torvek said formally. The Veltari Empire recognizes Earth as a major galactic power and wishes to establish peaceful relations. The Draknor Confederacy makes the same request, Commander Vashiti added. We also wish to discuss technology sharing agreements and joint research projects. Kim walked to the main view screen and looked out at the 3 alien fleets floating in space. The battle that had been raging for hours was completely over. Ships that had been trying to destroy each other were now coordinating rescue operations for wounded crews. Admiral Chen, there is something else you need to know, he said quietly. We are not the only human ship that has been operating in secret. Our mission was part of a much larger reconnaissance program. He activated a special communication frequency, and suddenly dozens of new contacts appeared on sensors throughout the star system. Human ships decloaked in multiple locations, revealing that Earth's presence in this region was far more extensive than anyone had suspected. The alien commanders stared in shock at the tactical display showing human vessels positioned throughout their territory. Earth had been watching and analyzing their activities for years while remaining completely invisible. "How many ships do humans have?" Admiral Torvek asked weakly. Kim smiled. "Admiral, let us just say that Earth has been preparing for this moment for a very long time. We are ready to take our place as a galactic power, and we intend to use that position to help bring peace and stability to this region of space." The conference room fell silent as everyone absorbed the magnitude of what had just been revealed. Humanity had emerged from the shadows as the galaxy's newest major power, armed with superior technology and guided by principles of cooperation rather than conquest. The universe would never be the same. The age of endless warfare between alien empires was ending, replaced by something unprecedented in galactic history, a civilization that used its strength to protect rather than dominate, and that offered partnership instead of submission. Captain Kim Dae-ho looked at the alien commanders and felt hope for the future. Perhaps the galaxy was finally ready to learn from humanity's example and choose cooperation over conflict. Time would tell if this moment of revelation would lead to lasting peace or new challenges. But one thing was certain. The galaxy had been amazed by what humans could accomplish when they chose to reveal their true capabilities. Now it was time to see what they could build together.